Welcome, kings and queens, to another market open. Today we are going to go over things and stuff. Okay, we're going to be going over some stuff in the stock market and crypto. Crypto market has been looking pretty bloody lately, as I'm sure everybody here knows. And by everybody here, I mean me. and but I forgot to open up my market cap. But as we're going through this, I'm going to be kind of showing what I'm looking at as the market is looking the way it is, and how I'm preparing to go forward. I haven't been doing much of anything. I've traded a couple of cryptos into things that are a little bit more stable, but other than that, I haven't done much because I kind of wait until Bitcoin shows me what it wants to do. But I have seen that, decentralized social media, DeSo specifically, has been holding stronger than Bitcoin, so I have moved some stuff into DeSo, and it's actually gone up in the last couple of days, so that's nice. As we get started, we're going to look over some crypto stuff first, like we usually do before the market open. When the market opens, then we'll look at some more stock-related stuff, and we'll go through the news for both of them. And I'm also going to be changing some of the times that I go live too, so we'll go over that as well. And did I get a missed call? I feel like I got a call. Oh well. That was probably my mom. Hi, Mom. So, yeah, I think I already explained everything that I'm going to be looking at and all that fun stuff. There's really not much to say about the crypto market. It's just so red. It's so red. Chainlink has been holding strong. That is one. And then DeSo is another. I'll pull that up real quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. But crypto overall has been pretty red. It's one of those times that if you're not in crypto now, look for your next move. I want to say definitely jump right into it, but it's, at this point, how much lower can it go, really, to be honest? Yeah, so it's down a little bit from what it was earlier, but it was at 79 just a little bit ago. It's at 76 now, but it's been holding above 75, where everything else has really been tanking. This has fallen to 75 and kind of hit a floor there. It's kind of deceiving, to be honest, because this is when it was listed on Coinbase. So, well, oh, maybe it's not. I know this is when I was just saying it was at 79 just a bit ago. This was the just a bit ago. But still, what I'm seeing is the same thing as before. Anytime that Bitcoin takes another dump, this has a little bit of a pop. It's the people kind of gaining their money or trying to make up their money in the early mornings. So this is the decentralized social media one that I'm a big fan of. But overall, everything's been pretty much going down. Bitcoin dominance is coming back up a little bit. It was in the 30s over the last couple of months. It's coming back up to the 40s. So if ETH is, again, half of what Bitcoin is, maybe the numbers are a little bit lower because there are other things in the market now. But I think once the market kind of goes through its shakeout, we'll say, these numbers will come back up too. I'm kind of thinking that's going to be toward the end of the bull run for the next bear cycle. But effectively, Bitcoin moves market. So right now, with it doing what it's doing, it's not surprising that everything else is going down. So like I said, I'm not really moving too much of anything besides just a couple of gaming tokens that I've gotten way too low, and I'm not trying to diamond hand. I'm getting out of that mentality. I think diamond hand and hold forever is real dumb. If you know it's going to go down, or if you really are convicted that it's going to go down, it's not a bad thing to take your profit while it's up. Before I just start blasting right into these. So Ethereum obviously is going to be the leading layer one of everything right now besides Bitcoin, but as far as building on top of it, Ethereum is still like the leading layer one. Solana is getting more attention, of course. They're 133 right now, which is probably 50% off of its all-time high. Cardano, 110 right now. I'm not going to lie. I have sold Cardano about like $1.30 ish, but I'm in profit, so I don't care. Whatever Cardano I have now is locked away for my nieces, and that's pretty much it. And I don't know. I might buy back. Might buy not. Whatever else I'm sitting on right now is waiting till I can trade it for much more profit. Same thing with XRP. They're still going through their lawsuit, but I think that they still have high potential in the future. So I'm holding on to it, just waiting to sell. Terra is an amazing project. That is a layer 1. I think it's a good one to get into, especially at a $66 price target or price range. Same thing with DOT at $22. AVAX, another one, $80. If any of these right now are a good price, they're all layer 1s. All trying to more or less compete with Ethereum in their own way. Terra has its own stable coin also, which is UST, which is competing with USDT. So it's in the 19 spot. This not too long ago was, well, not in the 19 spot, let's just put it that way. But this tracks $1 now. Dogecoin, Shiba, I don't really care about those. If you want to go buy some meme coins, there you go. There's a couple of them. Throw your money away. Have fun. Matic layer 2/layer 1 works off of Ethereum, helps with gas fees, transactions, congestion, and all that stuff on Ethereum. For the most part, was holding over $2. It looks like it just break $2 probably within the last day or so, or less than the last day, because I know yesterday it was over $2. This is another project that I think is a good one to hold for the mid to long term, depending on how they do. They did just get voting rights in Ethereum, so that's always good. I believe that also bridges with Uniswap. So if you have Ethereum or Uniswap, you can now vote in the Uni votes. Or I'm saying that wrong. But, do your own research. I'm only here to brush the surface. And then obviously, as I get smarter, you'll get smarter too. Link. Link is an oracle. That's what it is, obviously. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. But it's the biggest one out there right now, $25. So the fact that it's at $25 right now, it's been holding strong, if not going up compared to everything else. It was at $16, $17 not too long ago. I did buy it at like $30, but I'm not mad about it. I still think it's going to go up from there. But it also means I'm not going to be selling it for a loss. I do have high conviction in the project, so I'm not afraid of a 50% loss when it comes to Chainlink. CRO is another one that went down a little bit, but is still holding 2x from what it was at its previous all-time high, which was 23 cents. So still another good buy at a dip. Here's the stable coin right now that Terra is making. So anytime that UST is wanted, a Luna token is burnt. This one up here, that's why it's in the 9 spot right now. That's why the market cap has gone way up, because people are buying this, because they know that, deflation means that the price is going to go up if they're making more UST. So like I said, $66 price point, it's pretty darn good for Luna. It did just hit actually it went, I think, just over $1 is even all-time high a couple weeks ago. Litecoin, I'm not going to say, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the project itself, mostly because the founder of the project sold all of his Litecoin. Whenever a founder or the main guy or group sells their tokens, if they're not going to support it, why should I? But I will be honest, I do use Litecoin whenever I want to move things relatively quickly and cheaply. Mostly it's the cheap part. Litecoin does usually still take about 15 to 30 minutes for it to get from one wallet to another. However, the cost is like 0.001 or 0.0001 LTC for a transaction. Whereas if I want to transact or just move, and again, this is what I use when I'm just moving from wallet to wallet because it's cheap. When I want to move like Bitcoin or something, it can be like $10 of a $100 move, or even more than that. I've tried moving USDC, and it's been $25 to try and move that. I have no problem converting it to Litecoin into the other wallet and then switching it again for whatever it is I want. Lately, what I've been doing that for is to buy DSO, because you can now buy DSO on Coinbase. So I'll transfer Litecoin into Coinbase, convert my Litecoin to DSO, and then transfer my DSO into my DSO wallet. I was going to say as simple as that, but if you don't understand transacting and moving tokens, it can sound difficult. If you have any questions about that, drop it in the chat. I'll walk you through it or help you out with that. I can even show you how it's done throughout the live. Near Protocol I forget who they just teamed up with, but this has been getting more talk around it, so definitely want to keep your eye on. Cosmos, another layer one. They're, I would say they're not competing with. I mean, they are competing with, but they're similar to Dot. So another layer one that's competing with Ethereum, trying to do cheaper transaction fees, be able to hold more traffic, and in addition, there's even talks that there are going to be some play to earns on Atom already. Ooh, excuse me. So the fact that they're like just getting started out as a layer one and they're already talking games is pretty cool. Let's see what else. A couple of these I could see being decent in the future. Just right now, I'm not sure. Phantom, I know people are talking about that more and more lately. Got to get back into doing research on that. This is a token that I had when it was like 20 or 40 cents, and one of those I should have held, but you can't shit all over yourself. FTT is FTX's token, which is an exchange. So Binance Coin, CRO, FTX, Uni, KuCoin's token, Gate.io, they're all exchange tokens, and they all have utility when you're on the exchange. Some of them will be cheaper fees. Some of them you get rewards when you're staking in the native token, whatever it may be. Decentraland is like, you can say, a hub, or it's going to be the full-on metaverse. It's the more overarching type metaverse than just a specific game or anything, so you can buy land and all that stuff in Decentraland. It is quite expensive now. VeChain is supply chain tracking, so under 7 cents, ridiculous steal in my opinion. Not financial advice. What else we got? Axie Affinity, that's like half off of its almost all-time high almost. It's a play-to-earn game. That's actually really appealing to me because you need 3 Axie to play, and that was very expensive not too long ago. So that makes it actually reasonable to get into playing Axie now. So if you were like, oh, I don't want to play Axie because it cost me like $300 or $400, it was like $450 to play. Now it'll cost you about $2. Yeah, just under $200 to get started playing that game, and then you earn rewards right away as soon as you start playing. Sandbox, this is another one. It's a gaming token. I think it's going to be really big. $4, $4.28 could be its floor. It's been hovering around like $4, $5 for a good while now. So potentially a good buy. Do your own research. Theta Network, I'm highly bullish on Theta. I think it's going to take some time. It is still a very clunky UI. However, I think of it like YouTube, but they're using everybody's broadband or extra broadband power. I think I'm saying that right. To make the streams more consistent, so you don't need buffering on all that stuff. So if you're watching a stream, instead of every now and again you see that spinning wheel because it can't load up, effectively the more people that are using Theta Network, the less you'll see that happening to where it's like lightning fast in real time because there's so many people on the network lending their extra speed, you could say. So if you hold the Theta token, I think it's like 10. I think it's a 10,000 Theta token. If you hold Theta token on the Guardian node, if I'm not mistaken, that's the node that you can stake on, and you're working as a node on the network. If you don't know what that means, there are other channels that explain it. I can also explain it, but it looks like market's open. But if you're watching Theta Network, you are getting T-Fuel in rewards, and you can also give T-Fuel as rewards as well. So right now I'm in my watch list. I was starting to go over some of the tokens that I have in there, seeing what's what. But let's now look at the market. This might take a second to populate. There we go. I don't want screeners yet. Okay, yeah, we want this. So as the market's opening, I really just want to see if it's going to be pretty green or pretty red, to be honest with you. Looks like right now up in these boxes you're seeing that the Dow Jones is looking red. These boxes, I don't think they're caught up yet. It usually takes about a minute and a half. If they are, And I'm really surprised that consumer goods is doing the best. But let's look at my account and see how the UEC is doing. All right, it's a little bit down from earlier today, and that's the uranium company that I hold. Let's see what it's at. So 377, and this is one that even though it has gaps like these, it doesn't scare me. I know what the potential of this company is, and even though I'm considering this a day trade, well, let me change that. Even though I'm considering this a swing trade because I'm holding it for multiple days, I'm not going to go out just because I am up. What is it, like 2 or 5% or something like that? This company just absorbed another company. Let's see. There we go. Open up. This laptop's so slow, I need to just wait. Patience. Okay, there we go. So Uranium Energy Corporation. Oh, this wants me to like play it. Well, anyway, they had an acquisition, 1220. I think it was $131 million or equivalent acquisition, and there it is. So it was $131 million acquisition of a uranium mining company, and they did it half with, I believe it was options in the company or stock in the company, and half is going to be through cash or something along those lines. All right, this is streaming on a very slow MacBook is difficult. Yeah, okay. All right, see. Don't want to unlock now. All right, I'm not signed in. Forget it. Anyway, UEC bought another company, big uranium company. Uranium, I think, is going to be big in the future, near future, because it's clean energy, not renewable, but clean. And, well, look at that. That's probably going to fill that gap up pretty quick, to be honest with you. Tesla under $1,000. Look at that. Tesla under $1,000. So if you're looking to pick up Tesla under $1,000, there you go. AT&T, 2662 right now. Yep. Giant bar up. What's that on the minute? That's on the 5 minute. This I am holding short term, so let me go to my live, which is not on screen. And what am I doing this at? So I did buy a little bit I bought one share of AT&T last week. I have $100 and some odd in another trading account. I literally am trading it from like $100 up, just to kind of get my practice back in. Looks like I am $1.76 up on the one share of AT&T right now, which I would say is pretty darn good. And let's see. Yeah. So we'll keep track of that chart today as things go on. Verizon, I am going to talk about Verizon a little bit, but this one has been on my radar because of a friend in my Discord. His name is to be determined if he wants to be revealed. But anyway, he asked me about Verizon because they're having like 9% dividend payouts right now, which is pretty ridiculous. Now there's speculation that might go down in the future, but they're pushing for 5G. Verizon is one of the companies that's kind of on the forefront of moving things forward. I think AT&T is a little bit slow. T-Mobile is also kind of pushing things forward. AT&T just seems like they were big wigs or big heads for so long, and now they're kind of trying to catch up to the new guys, more or less. So dividend-wise, I think Verizon is the way to go. AT&T has cut theirs before. I think Verizon's like, I don't remember, but they have a long streak of paying out. T-Mobile, I remember seeing them in like the $50 range when I first got T-Mobile as my service, and it doesn't surprise me that they're at $109. I mean, they've bought a bunch of companies. They have expanded. They're reaching into 5G. Their prices are reasonable. I will say that when it comes to competing between who has the best service and everything like that, T-Mobile may not be the best, but whenever I'm with someone who has T-Mobile or know someone who has T-Mobile and they're on the other end, it's not like it drops out every 5 minutes. It still holds pretty strong for the most part. But I will say versus AT&T and Verizon, if you are using those two to compare, do your own research, I guess. Try all the different companies. Let me know what you think. This is a precious metal mining company. Wow, right at $18. All right. Mom and Dad, if you guys are watching, put this one on the watch list. Not financial advice, but this is a Bitcoin or a blockchain mining company. And this is low. $18 is low. Yeah, they're coming into almost IPO prices, or even maybe even lower. They're lower than IPO prices, aren't they? I can't remember when they opened up. 2003. What were they doing in 2003? I didn't even remember they were around that long. Maybe this was something else, and then they just rebranded. This had to be something else. Blockchain was not around. I mean, maybe blockchain was, but that really makes me want to dig into Riot a little bit more. But regardless, yeah, you could see nothing was happening here. And then they were like, oh, Bitcoin. Anyway, Microstrategy, a technology software company. Oh, look at that. That looks like a double top, which means it could be coming into a bomb. Shoot up. So this has been a big tell recently for what Bitcoin or crypto has been doing lately, because they have so much Bitcoin on their books. But all I was just saying is that in the big grand scheme of things, that looked like a double top. And if you're looking at crypto, trying to find different things to use as an analysis, some of the crypto following stocks are good ones to use. They're a little late, but they still give you a general indication on trend, because people who aren't fully into crypto are using these, and this will tell you the sentiment on the outside of crypto things, in my opinion, about crypto. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let's go back to some crypto stuff. Speaking of crypto. E-gold is like half off from its all-time high also. Alright, I'm bored. Not really, but bored of going through those. Alright, so as far as the news, I'm not going to go through every news bit that I found. I'm going to kind of skim through. I will be a headline reader for today, and I'll go into a couple of things a little bit deeper. But just because of how much is going on in the market, I'm kind of just going to skim through a bunch of it, because a lot, even though it's been read, a lot has been going on. So, it's what happens when you're trying to get your sleep back on schedule. You yawn a lot. So, FTX and Binance build offices in Solana Metaverse. So Solana's breaking into Metaverse stuff. Like I said, it's L1 that's sort of like Ethereum, but they're trying to have lower gas fees and be able to hold more on the network. It's an alternative. A lot of these things, when anybody on YouTube, Twitter, or wherever is talking about these L1s and all that, it's not necessarily better per se. Some of them are, some of them aren't, but overall, they're different. A lot of it has to do with the network effect. So if you don't have a network effects, then not a lot of people are using them. So it could be good because you'll have quicker transactions, lower fees. But at the same time, if not as many people are using them, you're not going to be able to, buy and sell and trade all that with as much volatility as something like an Ethereum or ERC20 token. But without getting too much into the nitty gritty, this kind of thing is coming up a lot lately. Not just Metaverse, but building in the Metaverse. And the funny thing is I have a lot of friends now who are telling me, oh, the metaverse is going to be great, and all this stuff happening in the metaverse and games and stuff you can wear and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, that's great, especially if you're a gamer. But there are a lot of people who have no interest or no idea what's going on with games and play to earns and all this other stuff. Like, they're doing offices and schools and hangouts and, coliseums and galleries, the actual shops in the metaverse. So, Mom, you remember when I used to play Sims for hours on the computer? Effectively, if Web3 and play to earn was big back then, like it's getting now, something like the Sims game, maybe to start playing, you would have had to pay like $100 or something like that. But then when you build your house, you're using this digital money that you got when you did the initial purchase, and then you can work in the metaverse. You can actually gain your crypto or gain whatever in the metaverse, and then from those rewards, you can be able to buy more things, trade, and it's really endless. But this right here, now I don't know what this exact tidbit is saying. Let's see, finance for the office and metaverse, strategy for FTX and Binance. So, yeah, exactly. Need SimCity. Yeah, exactly. Sandbox, Central. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so it's a place to meet in the digital world, and when you're doing things like this, not only are they going to be, this office can be conceptualized as a new extension of that. Of course, Binance are just two many protocols utilizing portals. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So they're effectively building this as, now this looks like the stock floor, and it could be used for trading, for swapping, but you could use this for meetings, you could use this for general trading, NFT galleries, like I was saying, but this is getting big. Like, people are actually working in the metaverse now, not only for R&D to see what people are doing in the metaverse, but also as a way to interact with your own company. And like I was saying, back last year, people were building in the metaverse. They were buying plots of Decentraland and building, and it was classrooms mostly. It was people who were, the talking heads in crypto, building in the metaverse so that they could take all of those people who were taking their courses into the metaverse so that they could actually interact with each other. Now this is a forward-thinking thing, and as I'm watching these people build, it's still on the getting the room together or getting the platform or the interaction together. Not too many people are actually using it just yet, but we're getting there step by step, especially when you see companies like Binance and FTX going into the metaverse with their offices. This isn't the first time that this has been talked about, but more and more companies are talking about it. All right. My computer is so slow. All right, while that's loading, let's go look at the whale stats. Most traded token, last 24 hours, still Link. So when we looked at this Friday, or Wednesday, whenever the last time was, it was Link also. This again is the, am I pointing the right way? I am. This again is all the tokens that are on the Ethereum network besides Ethereum that are in whale wallets. So these are still the two biggest. I believe it was last week. Gala is still in the 3% range. CRO is still in the 3% range. Link in 3% range. Matic brought its way back up. It was in like 2% or so. Actually, you know what? I'm going to drag this off screen real quick if I can. Hopefully. I want to... Oh, no. No. No one needs to see that. Alright, my computer's so slow right now. I want to be able to drag this to my other screen so that I can screenshot it, but it doesn't look like it wants me to grab it right now. Whatever. Okay, so this is a good one. Whalestats.com is what it is. If you screenshot this and check it daily, the information updates every 24 hours, and day by day you can see what whales are putting into their wallets. If you're able to follow the wallets, sometimes you're able to follow the trends, which means you can then follow the trades. Make the trades. You don't want to be following the trades. I want to make that very clear. I see way too many people following trades. That's what I did. That's what I still do, sometimes inadvertently, when it comes to NFTs, because that's what I'm new at. And following people's trades and purchases and stuff like that is a risky game unless you really know the people to follow or the underlying reason why you're getting it. Anyway, what else is here? So here's Sand, like I was saying before. It's another game that's coming out or is out. Uni, biggest DEX that's out there. Decentralized exchange. If you ever hear anyone say DEX, that's that. So Bitcoin rainbow chart. This is one that I haven't looked at in a good while, and I'm glad I remembered it the other day. And by the other day, I mean like midnight this morning. This chart has been around for like the beginning of Bitcoin. Basically, I think it actually was created in about 2013 or so. But it's tracked pretty darn well as to what's happening in the market, when it's a good time to buy, too high to buy, or hodl, all that kind of thing. One of those things, if I really had the capital, if I was just using this, I'd probably make out okay. Actually, if I was just using this, I'd make out pretty well. But effectively, what I want to show you is as close to today as possible. So you can see this light green here. There we go, that's close enough. This light green here is telling us that Bitcoin is still cheap, quote unquote. This is just a chart created by some person, so who knows? Maybe it's super expensive right now, it's going to zero. Doubt it. But this right here is saying, like, assume that it's 123 right now, and it's at $40,000, 40,600, I should say. It's saying that it's still cheap at that price. Off screen, I'm just looking to see what it is right now. It is 40,730. So let's assume that we're about 10 days into the future, 13 days into the future. 40,000 would still be a good price. However, this is, if you can see, not a very spaced out chart. So we're only about right here or so, which means we're still in the light green area. If we were actually at 47, then I believe that takes us into the hodl, which by this chart is suggested that you don't sell, don't buy, you just hold. Don't, again, do your own research on what you want to do specifically with that. But I will say that I do feel comfortable saying that $40,000 right now is cheap. Will it go below $40,000? It could potentially go down to $20,000. However, catching that $20,000 dip could be difficult, because when I see Bitcoin dip majorly, that big dip, the one that makes a whole lot of people, or it could make a whole lot of people money, is very, very short-lived. You would see it dip to like 20,000 and back up to 38 or 35 in the matter of a minute and a half, or even an hour, but it would be at like 2 a.m. when most people are asleep in the U.S., people I know. Everyone else on the other side of the world, they're making their money at that time, because they're like, oh, there's the dip. Probably made the dip happen. I digress. But regardless, this is another thing I like to look at, and anytime I've looked at it and it's been in this gray area or green area, it has felt very cheap. I've been following since about here-ish. Yeah. I've been following since about here. So I didn't even know about this chart until about here. And when I started looking at it, I mean, you can see anytime it's been in the light green area, it hasn't been there for too long, and it's been reasonably priced compared to the times around it. So it's not one I would say go off of this chart and that's it, but it's a good one to look at. Are you going to let me move? Can I use my laptop now? Okay. There we go. Let's see if I can get a screenshot of this real quick off screen, and then I'll bring it back. That way, for tomorrow, we can track and see how things have changed. I think that's how you screenshot. Yeah, we'll see if it took. All right, next thing I'm going to go over is going to be, real quick, we'll hop back into Stonks. Let's see what AT&T is doing real quick. Because on my other computer, it's looking like I should be taking out my money. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So, let's go in a minute. What else are we looking at? If there's any stock or crypto you want to look at in particular, drop it into the chat. love to look at it. See, I could say that that's like a broken head and shoulders, and it's just going to go a little bit lower. But we're also on the 1 minute. What does this look like? Is it a channel maybe? Let's see. Could be going on a downward channel potentially. On the 5 minute chart, I probably would trust this a little bit better. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that throughout the day. I think it'll still pick back up. I mean, it may be under VWAP and the 5-day moving average, but because of everything else in the market sort of being rocky, but looking like it wants to come back up, this could come back up today. And again, this is a swing trade, so I'm not really looking at getting out of it this second. However, I am up almost 10%, no, 7% now. And on a trade that isn't going to move that much, it's a decent amount. So probably going to pull out at some point today, if not in the next day or so. Let's go back over here. Last thing I wanted to show, this website called Glassnode. I don't have a membership with them, so not all this information is going to be completely up to date. However, it will still show you the trend, a general trend of things. One of the biggest ones is number of addresses. I mean, look at this. Back in 2009, obviously when Bitcoin was started, there weren't that many addresses. As time goes on, it goes up. But even when the price is starting to plummet, this is the part that I found really intriguing. Right over this little corner here that you can't really see much going on. You can tell that even though the Bitcoin price is dipping, the number of addresses is still increasing, which means that there are more people starting wallets or buying Bitcoin, more new addresses being formed. So it could even mean that someone is moving from wallet to wallet or wallet to exchange. Maybe they're starting a new address so that they don't see, so that people don't follow where they're going. But to me, it shows that there's activity still going on even at this low price. And then obviously you have active addresses too. This one, the biggest difference is that with the number of addresses, you can put your Bitcoin into one place and it can just sit there. You don't necessarily have to move it or not. So some of those addresses that were included in that last chart, they could have had their Bitcoin in there since 2010 and not touched it. This is showing the addresses that people are actually using. And here, when I'll say we were at the bottom of the last dip, or when things were about to start turning around, you can see new addresses coming in and out. And if this chart were to actually go all the way down, all the way over, you can see that the addresses are still going up. The reason I know that is because I follow people who actually do pay for this membership. But with the new addresses coming in, when we hit a peak in the new addresses, you can see it matches up pretty well with peaks in the price. You can just look at that, even going back here. So peak, 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 peak. They're pretty synonymous. And that was pretty much the entire stream without going into almost any news. So Virgin Galactic, why did it dip so much in December? Because it is a space company and there's only 2 out there for normal people. That's pretty much it. It is a brand new company. How often have we been doing space travel as consumers? If you're into a very risky stock, something with very high potential, something like Virgin Galactic Space or Virgin Galactic SPCE being the ticker, could be a really good buy. I mean, they're at like $16 or something right now. They were at like 40 just last month or 2 months ago. So they've been cut in half. They've been chopped at the knees, effectively, for being such a forward-thinking company. They've had successful flights. They've had, I think, 1 successful flight or 4, but only one of them had people on it, Richard Branson. He's only flying 1 mission with his founder, Richard Branson, and 5 other crew members. Now, this isn't a name that I bet against. I'm sorry. I'll bet against Warren Buffett before I bet against this guy, because he actually is in tech. I mean, maybe not specifically tech, but you know what I mean. He likes tech. Warren Buffett thinks it's like the devil still. Come on, Warren Buffett. You're like 90. Actually, congratulations on how old you got. I mean, not even started knocking down one of my heroes. Warren Buffett, you're the man. Just a little outdated research, but that's okay. So Virgin Galactic, if you're into space travel, they have successful flights. Their stock is about as low as it's going to get, and I mean, they had one successful flight. It's really a matter of $12. So it's really a matter of how much risk are you willing to take. I mean, this could still go down to $5. It could go down to $2. We don't know. But it's just like Tesla in a sense of what they do in a lot of ways is just so brand new. How are you going to price discover on something so new when there isn't that much backing? They haven't made revenue. I mean, that's another big reason. So in that news article, one of the things was how do you buy into a company that doesn't really have any revenue on their books, and you're going because of the forward thinking in it, and not just forward thinking, but the fundamentals as far as the. Let me rephrase it. No revenue. Where are the fundamentals? You're in this case betting on the founder, which in this case is Richard Branson. He started Virgin Air. He started a very giant airline company off of saying, "Can I have those planes for free and I'll pay you back as I make money?" Come on. I'm not betting against this guy. But like I said, this stock went up to about $60 some odd. It's at $12 now. If you're into space flight, if you know about space flight and all that stuff, and you're willing to take the risk, this could be a good one to get into. This is one that I'm kind of looking at for my longer term holds. I just don't know much about space flight, and I have to do more research on the company because there is no revenue. So I'm going to be looking at this deeper and deeper, and as the chart starts to figure itself out and isn't just sloping down like this, probably going to buy in eventually. I'll get better with my flow on this. So that's what this is saying. Another article I wanted to get into really quick, and then after this I'll kind of just free flow it. If you have any questions, put them into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. If you don't, then hey, just hang around and keep listening. But effectively, Warren Buffett, the guy who doesn't invest in tech companies, there are 3 companies that he is still invested in that he has not sold that have been beaten up over the past however many years. So they're saying they could be potentially ready to blow to the upside. I think really the speculation is just because Warren Buffett hasn't sold, and if he sold, then we know something's wrong. So he's not someone who sells even at a very big loss. He's very, very long term. So this is basically saying Warren Buffett has some things that haven't gone up. This part is saying that over the past 5 years, Verizon hasn't really done too much. It's been 3.5% up in the past 5 years or so as of whatever time. Even though the operating revenue was supposed to be or was supposedly bigger than the year over year in Q3 of 2021. I think this just has to do with the general flow of the market. There's a whole lot of free money in the market, and a lot of people have taken that free money out, and they're kind of waiting to see what to do with it. So I think Verizon will be one that people will load up on. I already know a couple of people who want to. They're big in the 5G space. They're forward thinking in the 5G space. They're not like I said. A couple of the other companies seem like they're trying to hold themselves back. So I don't understand what's going on. But they're fast. Let's put it that way. So if you're looking for something that the dividend 4.9. I think I might have said 9% earlier. 4.9. This might be what it has dropped to, because I do remember them saying that it was going to drop. So Stone Co., a technology, I think it was storage company, which is kind of funny because technology, the guy who doesn't invest in technology, but basically same thing. It drops 50%, 40%, and then 60% in 2020. Another very low price stock. The P&E is up. P&E up 11, so it should be going to the upside. I don't know too much about this company. Just reading this article, but Amazon isn't the last on the list. It's down more than 8% in the last 6 months. For a company like Amazon being down 8%, that's a pretty big deal because they're like $2,400 a share, or were. Let's see what they're at. So 10%, it's like Tesla. 10% on Tesla is pretty good buy-in if you've been waiting for a buy. So yeah, they were at 20. This is ridiculous. I was looking at them at like $1,600. Now they're almost more than double that. That's nuts. So there you go. Amazon is another one that Warren Buffett has not sold and could potentially go to the upside. As you can see, it is already up. I mean, Amazon, what else can I say about Amazon? They're one of the most innovative companies. They're literally taking over. They're going to be delivering packages to your doorstep with drones. I think they already are in certain places. And then they're saying, okay, well, Warren Buffett also says be patient whenever you're investing. I don't believe these are his words, but they're saying fine art is another place to put your money in. So I'm not going to say I invest in fine art, but I do like art, and I am starting to get into smaller pieces to store my wealth in. So if I have a couple of $100 and I'm like, no, I need every couple of $100 I can get right now. I'm in crypto, so I'm broke. But when I do have a couple of $100 and I'm like, I don't want to spend this, but I don't at the same time just want to sit on it because I do like spending my money. What can I get? I'll buy a collectible book. I'll buy a limited edition print, a signed print, things like that. They may need some paper money that's really old. Stuff like that. Stuff that I know is going to hold its value. That's a silver certificate from 1889, I think it is, or 1882, something like that. So some things that I think are going to hold value for the long term, even if it is just as a speculative, collectible item. But like this article is saying, it could be a potential good buy because whether it goes up or down really doesn't matter. It's when you sell that it matters. And I mean, yeah, it's just ridiculous. 0.12 during the last 25 years. Okay. Oh, never mind. The correlation was 0.12. Okay, so that means that the S&P 500 and fine art were pretty correlated. That's pretty interesting. I wonder where that study is. I want to find that study. But yeah, so if you're into art, if you're into collectibles, that's another thing I want to talk about this channel a little bit too. Certain niches to really bury your money into, so you're not going to spend it or take it out, and it's more of a inheritance for the future generations than anything else. Like I said, whatever Cardano I have left is pretty much for my nieces. And I'm not just saying that like, oh, I have it over here and I'm going to give it to them. Like, it's staked in the Daedalus wallet, and well, why would I take it out of a staking pool and move it from a wallet that is solely dedicated for it to make more interest on itself? I don't know. But that's another topic for another time, gaining interest on your crypto for future generations. Speaking of gaining interest on your crypto, I didn't pull it up. I usually do. But if you want to support this channel, there are links in the description below. Crypto.com is one. It's an exchange. You can hook up your bank to it. It's a very easy onboarding ramp into crypto. But BlockFi is the one that I like to use for my long-term holds. And they don't have a big variety, but they are a centralized, we'll call it exchange, but they're a lending exchange. So when you put your crypto onto here, it is being lent out on the other side, and you're gaining APY on this side. So my Bitcoin right now is getting like 6% per year. So every month I get a receipt on how much interest is gained in those accounts. The link is in the description below, and it is rewarded in that crypto. So if you're holding Bitcoin on there, you're getting interest in the Bitcoin. If you're holding GUSD on there, which is just a stable coin, you're getting interest on the stable coin, and I think that one's like 8.6%. Webull, I have a link for that down there as well, and then I also have a link for something else down there, probably. I don't know. Anyway, the main point in that was BlockFi. If you want to gain interest on your crypto, if you're brand new to crypto and you're like, oh, I have $2,000 in crypto and I just want to feel what it's like to be in the market, but I don't plan on moving it. Well, my suggestion, this is way late. Anything you hear in this program is for not financial advice, is for education and entertainment purposes only. Go talk to a professional if you want financial advice, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But for real, if you want to stake your coins, if you're like, oh, I want to put $2,000, if I want to put $1,500 into crypto, I just want to be able to feel what it's like to be in the market. Where should I put it? I would suggest BlockFi, not financial advice. But the reason I say that is because if you have skin in the game, you can at least feel what your emotions are going to do as you're watching the market, and you can see what the price is doing too. The fact that you get an interest receipt every month is just an extra bonus. But that's what I was doing in the beginning. Someone was telling me about Bitcoin, saying how, it's the next best thing, and I would put like 20, 50 bucks into it every now and again. And just the fact that I was in the market is what got me all this interest. I mean, if I wasn't just putting that $25 in, and I was buying silver at the time, so it's like I was dumb. But if I wasn't putting that 25 bucks in, I would have never felt the skin in the game type feelings. By the way, I'm looking at AT&T right now, and it looks like the volume is just going lower and lower, so I probably am going to pull that out in a little bit. Given that we're a little bit past 30 minutes in the market open, I'll probably wait until either close or if some midday volatility comes in, because usually around this time I notice that if it is not a high volatility stock, between 9 o'clock and like 2 o'clock, the stock is basically dead. That's Central Standard Time, by the way. So anyway, yes, if you want to stake, if you want to feel what it's like to be in the market, and you want to also gain interest on that crypto, BlockFi is the way to go. Their interest gains are anywhere from, I think, like 1.5% up to 8.6%, depending on the token that you're holding it in. ETH can also be held on there too. So that's pretty much everything that I have as far as news is concerned. I know we didn't go too much into crypto news today. I am trying to get more stock news out there, at least for what's in my watch list and what anyone comments on these channels, which is like nothing at all, because there's like my mom watching right now and my dad. But in the future, I'll get more and more stock on here, and I will not split, but I will do another live midday. I'm thinking it's going to be Tuesday and Thursday. It'll probably be lunchtime, so 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be crypto specific talk. But let's just look at the charts. Look at CoinMarketCap one more time, right quick, and nothing moved. I'm still broke. Oh, Cardano went up 2 cents. Terra went up $2. Look at that. Dot went up $2. Did they just flip? No, they didn't. Did they? Why do I feel like Dot was over top there? No. This is right. This is where they were. Anyway, this is what the cryptos are doing. So, it is up $2. Chainlink up $1. Crypto.com up 2 cents. All right, so it looks like the market is still wishy-washy. Still doesn't know what it wants to do. I'm trying to think if I have anything more of value to say. I don't think I do. So in that case, instead of wasting any more time, I'm going to let you all go. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you like what you heard, subscribe, like, notifications, all that fun stuff. This is episode 17 of my mission to generational wealth, our mission to generational wealth on this channel. That's what I want to learn / show is what I'm doing to get there as a roadmap, and hopefully that other people learn at the same time. If you like anything that I talked about, the way you can support me is by using one of the links in the description. If you are interested in decentralized social media or a social media that is on the blockchain, to say in layman's terms, DeSo is what you're looking for, and that's also down in the description. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Happy Monday. Go after it today. See y'all later, kings and queens.